Okay. We are currently on 80 meters. Looks like we just made a contact with KO3F. Negative 14 decibels. Could be better, but more than good enough to work. If anybody's watching out there, please let me know how it looks. This is my first time trying this, and I'm just curious to see how well I can get this to work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm logging this contact that we just made. And actually we've talked to him before. Let's see here. In August 19th of last year, we've made a contact, but that was on 40 meters. This is on 80. So let's just go ahead and save that contact. And flip back over. Let's go ahead and enable our transmission. Do a little CQing here on FT8. Well, we got a good signal report. It was +3, and I didn't see where that guy was at. Where was he located? He's in La Mesa, California. All right. So at least we got a pretty good signal report. So I'm not sure if there's anybody online right now, but you can see here we've got, we're transmitting right now, and you can, here, let me adjust this camera right here. You can see right here, this is, that camera right there is telling us our output, and what our SWR is. Basically, SWR is reflected power. And that's how much is basically bouncing off because of the tune of the antenna that's coming back into our receiver. And so you want to get as close to 1-to-1 as possible, but anything under 2 or 2.5 is still going to work just fine for the most part. Right now we're on 80 meters. I've got an 80 meter dipole, 40 meter, it's an 80 and 40 meter dipole, and then I've got a 20 meter dipole as well. So 2 HF antennas. You can see right here in the interface we're on 80 meters, and so that frequency for FT8 is 3.573 right here. And the software takes care of that for you. But let's go ahead. We're going to switch. Maybe we'll contact someone out here. Okay. Oh, that's my same area, so that's why it's booming in so much. Let's try this guy right here. So you can see we're transmitting right now. Little over 100 watts is what we're transmitting at. So we kind of got late on the frame on that one. So FT8 runs every 15 seconds as a frame, and so you've got 15 seconds to communicate. And so if you get in late, sometimes it won't transfer the full message, and so you have to run it again like we are here. And then again, they may not have heard us at all, to be perfectly honest. And so that's just something that sometimes happens, actually quite often happens, but at least in my case. So let's see if we get a response here. You can see this is the frequency. We got our response. Yep. So he put us at -2 decibels, which is really good. That's solid. So it seems like people are hearing us better than we're hearing them right now. Our receive isn't as well. Now granted, I do live in the mountains of Utah, and so especially people to the east of me, I don't hear them as well as I do to the west. just because I've got the mountain that I live on is right to the east of me, and so it makes it difficult at times for the way sometimes it propagates the signal for me to actually hear people as well, for my antenna to see people as well. So looks like we made a good solid contact with K8BL. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and go back to my logbook here, and I'll just enter in that call sign and add that QSO. And you can see here where it already has the settings that I used before of 80 meters, so that's 3.573, and so we're going to save that record. Oh, you know, I didn't see where this guy was from. Let's check to see where he was at. Ohio. So he's in Mentor, Ohio. Alrighty. So let's go back. And so I'm also running right here Grid Tracker. So Grid Tracker, basically this feed that we're getting over here of all the activity on the band is being visualized here. So you can see all these QSOs that are taking place between these different stations across the country. Unfortunately, right now, the way the band conditions are, we're not really seeing anything outside of the US. We are seeing a little bit here in Cuba, but that's about it. So I think, unfortunately for tonight, we're just going to be seeing a lot of US stations, at least where I'm at. I know people on the coastlines, they typically have better luck of getting overseas, just because the water, it works really well for bouncing those signals across the planet. But let's go ahead and let's try to make another contact here. So let's see here. Let's try this one right here. The W3YNI. Let's see where this person is at. We can put in their name here, or their call sign, I should say. So they're in Irwin, Pennsylvania. Oh, I moved my camera. So you can see the meter there. So I've got a couple cameras going on. Obviously, I've got the camera for me at my face, but we also have the camera right here. That is the meter that tells us how much power we're putting out and what our SWR is. So anyways, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. So this station was talking to somebody else, so let's go ahead and let's try to contact him again. So this is our what's called our waterfall here, and so this is a visualization of the band traffic itself. So you can see this is the frequency that we're on right here, and that what we're listening on. And there we go, we got them. We're coming in pretty weak at -17 dB, but with FT8, you know, that's kind of the whole point of the protocol, is to be able to hear weak signal communications. And so yep, that's our gentleman in Irwin. Let's see here, he's in Pennsylvania. Looks like he's on the western side of Pennsylvania here. Yeah, you can see we're having difficulty. He didn't catch our last transmission, so he's repeating the transmission. You can see his signal is really faint for us, and we're about the same for him. So depending upon any kind of interference that he may have and whatnot, it may not work as well. So we'll go ahead and see if we're going to be able to complete this QSO. It's not looking hopeful right now, considering he keeps on repeating the same transmission. So until he hears my transmission of this yellow line right here, these three yellow lines, he will respond with a RR73 is typically, which basically means reception received, and then 7-3 meaning goodbye, and then I will respond with a 7-3 goodbye. But this is not looking hopeful right now. Band conditions between the two of us not looking too smart for us. So we'll give it one more shot, see if he can hear us, but if not, we're gonna have to try somebody else. Yeah, it looks like he gave up on us. So let's halt that and see. Let's try somebody else. Or better yet, you know what we can do? We can CQ and we'll only interact with people that can hear us. So I went and set the frequency. Let's, just because I'm kind of OCD and I like good round numbers, let's set it to 800 here, our transmission or receive frequency. And we'll go ahead and enable. So you can see right now we are transmitting at 100 watts with an SWR of about 1.2 or so. And let's see if anybody hears us. So you'll be able to see it visually typically before you see it show up here in the waterfall. You'll start to see signal a lot of times. Oh, that was that last transmission from that guy. He finally connected with us. So we can log that QSO. So we'll log a new contact with him and save that. Perfect. All right, let's go back to 800 here, and we'll send out CQ again. For those of you that aren't hams or maybe new to this, CQ is basically saying calling anybody who wants to listen, essentially. Any station out there that wants to respond. You usually use the term CQ in all kinds of, and there we go, we've got our station. So that's NQ7G. And so he's got a nice strong signal of -7. Usually anything -10 or above is a good strong signal, and the likelihood of you making continued contact is pretty good. And he's showing us we've got a receive strength of -2 for him. So we're responding back to him. RR73 basically report received and goodbye. And so after we send that, typically he'll send one more transmission that will be just 7-3. And we'll see if that comes through here. There it is. So now we can log that contact. And let's see where this guy's at. Oh, Ash Fork, Arizona. I am originally from Arizona, living in Utah now, but I am not familiar with where Ash Fork is. Never even heard of it. It's got to be pretty small because I know most parts of Arizona pretty well. So let's save that record. And so what I'm doing here is, you know, if you're new to ham radio, this is just my logbook on how I track all of my contacts that I make. And so you can see here, like that last one, it tells us the date, the time, and this is going off UTC time, not, as you can see, my time here in Utah. It's 9:27, but UTC time, it's 4:26 tomorrow. And so call sign, what band we connected on, and then also the specific frequency of that band, the mode, FT8, which is the digital mode that we are using. and then also the grid. So basically, the Earth is carved up in a whole bunch of squares, and this will specifically tell us exactly where they are on the planet. And then, country and the name. And then this last column here is basically if there's a yellow star in there, it means that the other person on the other side confirmed that contact. And so, it's hit or miss. Not everybody uses the same software. A lot of people use QRZ or something that feeds into QRZ. And so I like using it. It's free. It's a great service. And so, but you can see, like, here's some of my contacts, all the different bands. So, like, we've got 20 meters, we've got 40 meters, 80, 30. We've made all kinds of different connections with different frequencies. Here's a 15 meter one. But yeah, and obviously different countries as well. We've got Japan, we've got Australia, we've got South Korea, Indonesia, etc. And so it's just kind of a cool little hobby to get into if it interests you. And so we can go back, and these are those grids that I was talking about here. So like you can see, here's my grid right here, and you can see all the stations that are here. So you can see the bright yellow one, that's me. But we've got 3 other stations transmitting from our grid, which is DN41. I'm right on the border, or somewhat on the border of Wyoming and Idaho. And so pretty far north up in Utah, in Layton. But let's go ahead and let's try to make another contact. Let's see here. That one looks pretty good. He's showing a -2 for us, which is a pretty solid frequency, or I should say signal strength. So we're probably going to see him call CQ again. I see his chatter right here. Oh, didn't come through. Interesting. So we're going to go ahead and transmit anyways and see if he can hear us. But like I said before, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the chat if there's anything that you want to know about. It looks like he made contact. Oh no, that was someone else. You'll get bleed over a lot of times of other communications that are taking place on the same frequency or close enough to where your computer will decode it. Just because you can hear them, they can't necessarily hear you, so they may not even know that they're on the same channel as you a lot of times. But thankfully, the software is pretty good about being able to decipher different stations transmitting on the same or similar frequencies at the same time. So it looks like the NF3R, they are on the East Coast here, either New Jersey, New York, or Pennsylvania. You can see it's that grid right there. So they're right where they're overlapping those 3 states. But it is not looking hopeful. We've transmitted 6 times, no, just five times to him, and he has not heard us yet. So like I said previously, I have a hard time hitting the East Coast as easily. Not impossible. I've hit 47 of the 50 states, but the 3 states that I'm missing are actually all on the East Coast. I think I'm missing Rhode Island, Delaware, and Washington, D.C. I guess 51. So we're going to give it this last shot, and if it doesn't, we don't make a connection, we'll try something else. So here's that frequency that we're on. You can see the transmission coming through. Yeah, he's still calling CQ, so he's not hearing us. So let's go ahead. We'll get on our own frequency here. Let's see if we can find some open band here. Let's use 1650 and call CQ. So you can see down here, this is our frame. FT8 runs in frames of 15 seconds. And so one for receiving, one for transmitting, based upon if you're the caller or the one calling CQ or the one responding to the CQ. And thankfully the software is smart enough to understand that, and so you've got this auto sequence checked here for that very reason. Oh, I didn't call CQ. I accidentally transmitted that guy again. Let's do that one more time. All right, we're calling CQ this time. So we're on 1650 hertz of the 3.573. So you can see, even though everybody is on 3.573 for this band, you can still slice it up even more, especially with digital communication. It doesn't take very much bandwidth to be able to communicate with computers back and forth. They can use a very, very narrow subset of the band. And that's what makes this protocol so efficient. Well, not sure if we're going to get a response here. I think someone else is communicating on this same frequency. Oh, nope, there we go. We got someone. They're coming in somewhat weak. Negative 14 dB, not too shabby. Looks like they're in California. Let's see what our signal strength is for them. He did not respond. So I'm not sure if I explained it, but you can tell the type of communication based upon its color. So whenever you have a communication that has no highlight on it, that just means that it's a communication that's taking place between two stations, and the first station is the station that you want to call, and the second station is your station ID, your call sign. And so okay, there we go. We got a report. We're negative 3 decibels. Yeah, we're doing pretty good to the West Coast tonight. At least good enough anyways. And then the green is whenever someone is calling CQ. So they're saying, hey, can anybody hear me? And please respond. And then the red, those red highlights are specifically responses that are pointed towards you. So anybody that's trying to communicate with you, you will see it show up as a red line. And so so you can see here they're trying to communicate to me, and then that's their call sign, and then that's their grid. All right. So we'll probably get a 7.3, but maybe we won't. It's not mandatory. Some people do it. Actually, most people do it, but it's not required. So we'll go ahead and we'll log that contact. Let's see where they're at here. This is Harry Frick. He is in, oh, Candler, North Carolina. I thought that was showing up as California. I guess I was wrong. All right. We'll go ahead and save that record. There we go. Logged another contact. Okay. So it looks like someone's transmitting CQ on this band. So let's move over a little bit. We'll go right here and we will start calling CQ over here. So we moved over to 1554. Yeah, this will show the last station that we transmitted to, which was this grid right here. Yeah, we can see this guy is showing a grid for California, but his QRZ page shows him in North Carolina. So there's a mismatch there. I'm not sure if he moved or what the situation is, but it is slightly off. This camera, I keep on bumping this camera. It's right next to my mouse here for the meter. Let me know if any of this information is helpful to you guys. If it's not, no biggie. We can adjust. But yeah, I'm just testing out live streaming and seeing how this works. Not sure if it's something I'll do on the regular, but I just wanted to try it out. I was actually just wanting to see if it actually worked with this machine. This is a slower machine. It's not as fast as my main machine by any stretch, but I have it set up dedicated for my ham radio station, and it's an old HP little small form factor PC. It's a quad core Xeon with 16 gigs of RAM, which is more than enough to do FT8 and any kind of ham radio stuff. That's what it's dedicated for. And so, oh, we got 2 responses simultaneously on that. So it auto responds to the first one. So where is this person at? Okay, they are in Connecticut, New Jersey, or New York, it appears. Let's see if, oh, didn't get a response. Let's see, let's just look to see where they're at real quick. Fresno, California. What the heck? Oh, I messed up. Okay, there we go. Yeah, he's in Fresno. Okay. I was thinking it was this square for some reason over here. There we go. -8 from our side. So not too shabby. Yeah, it seems like we're hitting California really well tonight. Yeah, for those of you new to ham radio or unfamiliar, you know, based upon the day, you could have band conditions that are completely different just due to how the atmosphere is that day. And so let's go ahead and we'll log that contact with Richard E. Pack. So log contact, we'll save that record. Okay. Let's try hitting this guy. Oh, this was probably that first contact here. Oh yeah, it was. There we go. So he tried responding to us, so let's see if we can hit him back. I'm not sure if we caught him in that first frame. I don't think so. But we'll try it again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a better setup for that meter for this camera. Something a little bit more permanent. Right now, I've just got it sitting here on my desk and not very stable. Let's zoom out a little bit just to see if there's any stations that we're hearing outside of the US. Doesn't look like it. There's one in Dominican Republic or Haiti. I usually don't have a lot of success with the Caribbean, but we can try that. And that was, what was the call sign on that? It was HI3A. So let's see if we can find that call sign. Oh, there it is. So let's try contacting him and see if we can't make a contact with Haiti. He's pretty faint, -16, so I'm not super hopeful, but you never know. Yeah, he came in at -19 that time. And I can typically hear better coming from the East Coast than I can transmit to the East Coast. Yeah, that signal is super faint in there. Yep, I don't think he's going to hear us. We'll give it one more shot. But I'm not hopeful. Yeah, it looks like our band conditions are degrading. We went from -16, -19 to now -21. So I am not extremely hopeful at this point. But there's a site you can actually look at that will tell you what the conditions are like for the day. Let's see if I can pull it up here. So it if you look on this sidebar here, this usually tells you what, for at a quick glance, what's going to work today, what's not. So it's nighttime, and so 40-80 meters is what's working well. And those typically work well at night, or better at night. Not always, but usually. And we're on 80 meters right now. And it looks like 20 and 30, but I checked earlier and I did not see any kind of activity at all on 20. I don't have an antenna for 30. I've tried, but I actually have a lot of interference on 30 meters for whatever reason. And so, yeah, it doesn't work too well. But we can also take a look at 40 meters, see if we have anything on 40. Let's see here. I just switched to 40, which is 7.074. Yeah, not as much activity, but still got some good activity out there. I'll go ahead and I'll clear this so we can at least see where the 40 meter stuff is popping up at. Yeah, it looks like a lot of West Coast. I'm going to go ahead and tune my radio so it can, if we want to transmit on 40 meters, we can. let's just go ahead and we'll throw out CQ here and see if it how it's working for us. So we missed the frame for calling, so we're gonna have to wait 10 more seconds before we'll start calling. All right, there we go. Ooh, we are not tuned up for some reason. Let's see here. It didn't like that tune. Yeah, it is not liking that tune. I may have to manually tune here. So let's start tuning. There we go. Sorry, did I knock it? So you can see this is how I can tune. And I actually have these settings written down somewhere. I should probably pull those up because I'm not sure why it's not wanting to tune right now. Alrighty, well, I think that's it for the stream tonight. I'm not sure if anybody was even listening at all, but I will go ahead and say goodnight, and go ahead and leave a comment if you watch this later, if you enjoyed this, if you'd like to see more or whatnot. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. This is